Waiting for Ivan, Chris Love and Ponsa, Ivan Waba. Why, Munyabotre. And I'm a shut down a matching me brampa, you form you know, way 2 musketeers, no matter what boom. And it's Ivan Kyei innocent, social commentator, youth activist. Brabby. Fabum, name for my film. Wako dear, Yamiase, and I feel me troublesome Brabako near Aryee, Economic Fighters League, one a spokesperson. Brabby, Nana, they are red or black.
Black for a while.
Bako dear, Mamma to myself, I'm into the Yes, stubborn academy for me, you know. So, quite dear. Yedanyamiase kakra. Chris Love say our man is in, yes. And Mariama was say I'm watching from Tadi, Mate Edamwase, and I come on a dorsal. There was a chance to me a cover topics, no, send you see ATM. All right, quick one. Me assure say beye se naka krani documents bi in them wiem media me makan bi me kan wie ye no me se dia aka ne yenya manyame because o ka se o comment wo ho a wan hwe a obeka akoka de enkanti me sa document no Ivan ni na be comment because me comment ya hwe me ka de ni se be ka UK any say crofo bi wo no mo do mo ya association na wo mo ya lawyer for e no mo ti UK o and wa matro krata de abre ye president ya to ababa no kroma say chief justice won reinstate no on san fa na djuma ma no na wo hwe wo mo nyina so ne ne ma wo keka ye na ye te say wo mo te fence wall so no person mo detective ma ye wo Ghana garden ni mo ti sa na etiem innocent your take on that.
Yeah, they come mention na mention what here for na mention ni so e share ya che
pao and me say that na me come
it's good to be back.
Yes.
And mechia more share so I think that be me can say globally, you know, we are interconnected.
Yeah,
you need a mind be isolated from the global way because say me baby me ya me pet
sure
one nation a bit me can say no yeah fully isolated crowd no North Korea crying he's trying to build allies and Russia, China and other people are trying to, so which means globally, you know, we are all interconnected.
Yeah.
So very often it's a situation and never be AC or other country or wherever you find yourself, you know, you have every right to comment and now bet you what and as a forum. But you must also know your limit and some of the things and a whole lot of stuff. And this will be a lawyer. I don't care whether they are Commonwealth, whichever lawyer be, now we are dissatisfied with maybe the way a manner near my air or wine. So waiting actually wife and say, oh, I did with me to say and say okay, yes say. But to go to the extent of issuing the command, trying to ask somebody, commanding somebody, say, oh man, some kind of like within a specified period, say that person also no other person than the president or mindful for Obama. No.
Yeah.
And initially, never, I thought that these people still see Ghana as some sort of a colonial trophy. At any point in time, no be able to me at baby. But I think that me kind let never no. I think that they are very ignorant of Ghana's constitutional reality and motivate you more for them to write this particular thing because Obi when you go through the constitution. Yeah. Yet let us agree. And you'll be okay with the Chief Justice removal. That is a fact. We are Ghana near wherever. But you see, me say the processes as has been activated thus far, no, there hasn't been any constitutional infringement. Because me say Ghana Bar Association Babontin and they made a lot of noise, but none of them was able to pinpoint to exact infringement because process now is not a novelty. It has been applied. Matisse this is the first time Chief Justice, but you see in the Constitution, you know, such categorization is not there. It's not about the Chief Justice, but the occupant of all offices at that particular level. Yeah. And EC boss and other people, no, replace them at the same pedestal. So in previous time, those people have gone through the same process. So whether the current constitutional arrangement is fair or not fair, no, that is the rules of engagement. A lot of people have gone through. You may have issues with the process, but zooming in the woman process now you're subjecting it to know any novelty. A month for go through and the suspension now. President Mahama as suspended on Fanomrano. Is it grounded in law or is it not grounded in law? And I remember Onua kind a constitutional provision, which is Article 146, 10A. It says whenever a premier facia is established, not a president or set up a committee to investigate the ongoing proceedings. Now, at that point, the president has a discretion to exercise, and that discretion is that either say over consulted the Council of State, no sign a warrant to suspend the Chief Justice to sit aside while investigation goes on, and answer and at this point, people are seeking to create impressions say, "Mama, ya pamono, obiam pamono," and because investigation crowd were doing say, "Yeah, be a war," a bit say, "Oh." Yeah, proceed on leave.
Yeah.
You bet me investigation unless you don't have trust in the process ongoing. The process may go against you. But that is a normal practice that is done everywhere. So I don't see where all this noise is coming from. And the very person who started this whole thing is the Chief Justice herself. She has been fighting this here and there, and very often court and I got into a point that I see says she's doing what you call this judicial shopping or court shopping, because you see, issues not the court,
judicial shopping.
Yeah, shopping for that kind of, because as I'm not the court, your fence Supreme Court, and you're about to go. What's on the second one? And then a portions of that particular way was sent to High Court, and the High Court catch it and said, no, I say, because issues now what they call Supreme Court, and the same issues and we cannot allow the court process to be abused. And that particular way, no, one thing I say, or they call ECOWAS. So it means that she is using all the appropriate courtesies available. So I think that it's quite childish. So Obi or no external body what's in the baby will give such an instruction to you can advise, you can express your opinion, but to give a command, say the president should bring the woman back. And the question is, have you read the constitutional provision that give the president say when there he has that particular power to exercise, and now say you don't respect the constitution, and now say you think that malice or something is going on, you understand? So I think that some of these things, some of these people sit elsewhere and they think that they can manipulate her, because yet Ghana and the UK about resources and they don't come anywhere close to us. We have everything that it takes. Even when it comes to human resources, the youthful population of Ghana, Europe, they don't even have it. If you go to Germany, they are aging. That is why they are importing a lot of young people to go. In America, it's the same thing. But Africa, we are so damn to the stand that we don't recognize the creative ingenuity of young people. Resources na yenya from na they still see us as slaves. So people can sit anywhere and manipulate us. I don't think your resources na you put it to good use. Now young person at Tikroma okay, because we have all the resources, they can live their dream and people will not be rushing to UK and other places to see greener pasture as well, because what resources, a resource-rich country like Africa, like Ghana, why do we have to rush all the way to go and be slaves in other people's land? Go to UAE, young ladies in their 20s, in their 30s, all airport, or travel all the way to your friends in Arab countries. Treatment now I spoke to a lady. I say madam warn if science man never bought from. And according to her, many of them die. Nobody even know they are whereabouts. You understand? So I think that these are some of the realities that we need to wake up to. Resources now putting it to good use. Now, I listen to a lot of conversation. I'm for Trump attempts or by USAID. You see, Trump is a reality. It's a wake-up call for we the Africans. Because it's not all the time that some of these foreign powers will be giving you freebies and you sit here. Over Ghana, all the expensive SUVs, as I see, America, even the senators cannot buy. We are using them here. Madam will be from US by now. I say about Ghana cars over who even in America he doesn't receive those cars. Expensive cars your border watch and now the ketwa. But our people are languishing in poverty. Our people some cannot even find 2 square meals a day to build themselves. You understand? So I think that these things are reality. Where we are as a people. Now who say we must begin to get our priorities right. And yes, sir. Now see, if we continue to live our life the way we are doing here, these people will sit somewhere and still see as some sort of saying some colonial trophy we are waking up at any nonsense at all, no betting up to on you and expect say you follow same. And that is the reason why I am worried about this whole thing. Me, it is not about the wedding, it is not about test or money, but the thinking behind it. Sakwa brande beda soro betimenya the M-Fontry to say, I am commanding the president of another country to do ABC. And not just that, the whole kind of wedding, the tone, and as a form. Which is a Sabian because some now movies again, I must say, you're making sure that the timeline, this whole process must be communicated to the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
Okay, Ghana Constitution now, there is no specification as to when the committee should do it well.
Yeah.
The president even doesn't have the power to control them. Say, within 1 week, you give them all the freedom in the world just to ensure that the necessary investigations and everything that they have to do, will be verified. Evidence be presented must have evidential value. Everything standing the test of prosecution. I know the day say woman anytime issue know the cocosa. You know say the process has been dealt with sufficiently. And all these things has given them that sufficient and ample time. So it is not up to understand nobody somewhere to tell us say draw a frame now you making sure say time is communicated. Again, I say the lawyers will be and I'm not sure say the Chief Justice has gone to the room to say or the lawyers can be a permanent. You see, I think that I'm for we feed the bigger picture here. Prior to the elections, we all saw how dirty our judiciary became in this country. But yes, subject of public mortification on various social media platforms. Unanimous this, unanimous that. You can just sit and predict the outcome of the judiciary and then the ruling as for judiciary ultimately ruling Bible and saying ordinary person can sit and say, I the ruling with the answer in him. Or say, my birth certificate ain't enough to vindicate my nationality. Now, traveling document, which is a passport. You see, it's a common sense and common to everybody. So these are some of the things that I'm for you worried. And again, the judicial tampering and the packing of the court and as a form. So Ghanaians became so much concerned. Said no, your judiciary, we needed to do something about it. I don't know, give right to some of these things. And this is the fact that some people send a petition. Yes, it is true. And some now more can't our petition. I think that the Chief Justice must spend all her time responding to the in some rather than fighting the procedures, these trivialities around. Oh yes, Anna, you are painting a picture so you are guilty because you have no response to the issues that have been peddled against you. Because I'm speaking to the issue, explaining why I'm in Tomona. I didn't tell about TV, so now I'm fan court. No one say, you are preaching to the people, so you are guilty because you have no defense. But if I know, say, I didn't do that particular thing, I catch someone this car, I will explain to you why I'm in this car. I'll go to the committee and explain myself. And Charlotte Say and Co, other people who were subjected to similar processes went through the same thing. This is not the first time a president has suspended you. The last time I catch Justice Derry when Anas accused them. And the premier facia was established. They were suspended by President Akufo-Addo pending investigation. We investigation, Akufo-Addo signed a warrant and dismissed all of them. And you're saying, a former Shraj boss went through the same process. So this is not a novelty unless the woman is telling us this whole thing is a novelty. And again, I was shocked when the Chief Justice made a request. He said, this whole thing, Yam Famra TV. So now maybe someone say, mommy, or a lawyer, because this person is supposed to be a lawyer, and she knows, that particular provision in our constitution, nobody can waive it, not even the court, not even the Supreme Court. And as I walk in Amadu JSC ruling, I read that particular ruling throughout. He made it clear, Sir, Adiana constitutional framework say I'm heading in camera no. It is not because I a privilege for whoever or seeking the court. For the people of this country, but there are certain things that won't mean for metanabonting agency. So they wanted to protect the sanctity of the court. And untina, you're making it. You have enshrined in the constitution. The Supreme Court ain't any power to waive. See, I say, we need to do a referendum, Ghana for on top, and another constitutional amendment. And sign it may such a ruling, will be shown on camera. So for a whole Chief Justice to make a request to a court to say, TVs, and then you begin to wonder where that particular mind is coming from. You understand? So I think that this whole process here, also involving the Chief Justice, whole lot of weaknesses has come to bear. And for me, I am very disappointed. Going forward, and I think that the people we select to the apex court of the land, we must be very careful and see say nipa na oyedo omokon really they deserve in recent times. And I think that the politics is becoming too much. I know a lot of people on the offense that the Supreme Court on the offense your judiciary numa because they've been given some partisan colorization, and acquire politics. So yes, if you don't talk to any line, so all the promotions and appointment that is coming, depending on how you stand across the political, that is what they do. So at the end of the day, the very people with the enough competence and that intellectual weight to be able to give us all the detail that we need so far as interpretation of our laws are concerned, these people, bypass more, then we promote some of these you push over intellectuals to these higher positions, and at the end of the day, it will come at a cost for us because we are Ghana now. What we emotions free, now we politics free. Now we see the argument of the Chief Justice on TV. You will be shocked. Say, it's the way the Chief Justice and answer about so because it's so shocking and very. Sometimes I wonder because basic element like reasoning, common sense, and then as if you see it's missing. Maybe emotions can take a better part of people. And my culture says we say when you rise to a certain position, don't allow emotions to cloud your thinking because the very moment emotions take over your head, wisdom goes on vacation. And when you're careful, it will never come back. You thrive on emotion. You even embarrass yourself without even realizing. So I think that Ghana, I like the response at various contexts. And they are marked this whole thing. And Onua who say they goofed bad. The AG issued a statement explaining this whole thing. The AG was a bit charitable with his choice of words. I've seen a lot of big lawyers who are very angry about this because some of these things, bring it to mind. The colonial days, how you sit somewhere and somebody thinks that they can control you. I don't know whether truly this is a British Association of Lawyers or Commonwealth, but we don't care whether it is way cry. We don't care because in the UK, I think they have a lot on their table to deal with when it comes to some of these human rights abuses and then as for them. And your court in intervening and one can shipping nipa agu do about Rwanda against their wishes and then as for them. You will just anima we ho about the cow baby there. I think they should just shut up and give us a break.
Titi.
Yeah.
Medical chair will take for to the matter.
Yeah.
You see, first question is the UK lawyers and Commonwealth lawyers they decide. They say they have the right to determine what an independent country does. That's the first question. Now, you to me push it to the side, say just by chance. Okay. Now we are dealing with the UK or Britain. Right? Until 1957, 6 March. Now, right? On the 6th of March 1957, we said, Ghana is independence. So we had become an independent state. But you see, the history is not that straightforward. And see, yes, it's a group of lawyers from the Commonwealth. Now, mind you, Ghana is still a member of the Commonwealth, right? Until 1957, 6 March, they say Ghana be independent. But say, independent, then why was there a need for 1st July 1960?
That's a republican.
So if we were truly independent, why did we have to seek to become a republic? What I say?
Yeah.
Because on the 6th of March 1957, Ghana became independent in name, but not the head of state of Ghana was still the British Crown. And see, not the Queen of England was still the head of state of Ghana. And we had a prime minister who was answerable to the UK government. In the 1st July 1960, we were supposed to become a republic. Let's say we cut all ties with the British monarchy and we are self-serving and are sovereign by ourselves.
Yeah.
But this is the cunning of the British. On 2nd June 1960, that was 1 month before 1st July 1960, Omo passed an act in Parliament, in the British Parliament, called the Ghana Consequential Act. Now, I'm trying to say all the laws that were pertaining to Ghana before 1960, 1st July, as if say Ghana ain't republic.
Yeah.
And see, it does not matter what you and I think. It is what is enshrined in law. Now, independence on the 6th of March 1957, it was the British Parliament that passed an act granting us our independence. Now, Titi, this is a basic fundamental rule in law. Freedoms are not given, rights are not given or taken. It is sovereign. Independence. No.
Yeah.
It is not a privilege. It's a right. But I must say, the Ghana Bay on the 1st of July 1960, on the 2nd of June 1960, about 1 month to Yen Republic Day, I must say, the Ghana Bay on the 1st of July 1960, the laws pertaining to the Gold Coast will continue in Ghana as if Ghana never became independent. It's a way, it is a law sitting somewhere. Back to the law. Now, your Supreme Court was built on the Supreme Court Ordinance of 1876. It's a British law that established our judicial system as it stands. Now, up to 1960, so your Supreme Court, Emma ruling Bia, you can appeal it, but appeal not to mean you appeal how. So, appeal to the Privy Council in London, even though we had a Supreme Court here. And see, the Supreme Court Ordinance of 1876, Yanya Supreme Court, the highest court on our land, was on the same jurisdictional level as a high court in England.
Okay.
And see, they did not have any direct respect for us because most Supreme Court, but high court. Because it was based on that level. Now, Omu claim say after 1960, all that was changed. Now you have to appeal right here. But Titi, I put it to you. Sir, the reason why your judges, 9-year lawyers now share wig, just like the British system, is because of that umbilical cord that Yankate. And so we are still very much attached to the colonial system and architecture, but we make ourselves believe that we are independent. And in this hot sun, we want justice. We are getting what time wig. Now I share wig. Now I share black coat. Because of that colonial establishment. And we don't see these things to change. Courts, what's the official language there? We say Ghana is independent, but still, official language, English. And see, when you see a group of lawyers coming from no other place but the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, which happens to be the colonial administration for the territory called Ghana.
You know where they are coming from.
Then you know where they're coming from. And these are lawyers, they're not idiots. And so they can tell our president to do X and X and X because let's look at the office of the president. Before 57, now we had governors. Now, the last governor of Ghana before independence, Aden Clark, right? And he came from 1949 to 1957. Now, it was a civilian office. It's now a governor's office. But it is your BBO. After 1957, they changed the office from the governor of the Gold Coast to the Governor General of the Gold Coast. Why the change? And the governor is a civilian office, but the Governor General is a military office. Now, according to international law, to mean the sovereign independence country be so, it has to be by military conquest. And before 1957, it was a civilian administration because the British did not colonize Ghana through conquest. It was through treaties. And most of them to sign treaties, which said, British forever. Okay, forever.
Forever.
Obi you soon the same way. And see, until 57, when Ghana was supposed to become an independent nation, to me, you saw a civilian governor to rule on behalf of the British Crown. And to almost sign our office and made it the Governor General's office, which was a military establishment. Now, in the thinking of the British, they had conquered Ghana by conquest. And see now, even though you are independent, we still have the Governor General here. And these are some of the nuances, of course, and then we had to move to become a republican system, where we cut all ties completely with the British. And the Governor General office, and no president. So the Governor General had direct appointing powers for the judiciary, or no appointed Chief Justice or all the courts, all the justices. It's the same thing that our president inherited. Until we claim that we have separation of powers, the executive, legislation, and judiciary are supposed to be separate of each other. But you have a system where the executive, the president, appoints the head of the judiciary, which is the Chief Justice, and has the power to remove and otherwise. And see, between the Governor General's office or the Governor's office and our president right now, what's the difference?
Okay, I get you.
Cosmetic changes, but the structure is still the colonial system. And Titi, for a very long time, we've been calling for a new constitution. And you say, we just want to make noise or we want to just cause trouble, there be. But these are some of the issues that come up from our constitutional or our governance architecture. So if Ghana is truly independent, why do some of these things happen? Why is it that we say we are independent? Yet still, natural resources, mineral resources, are in control of 3 countries, Britain, America, and Canada. Into your gold and we are getting less than 2% of our gold. Yeah. Over 98% is going to the British. Why do they feel so entitled to our land and our resources if the system is not such that they are the ones still in control? A clear case of negligence here. But say, information has been withheld from the masses of the people. And yet, Obiana, your time, I cut through some of these things. And see, we make a lot of noise. I heard some of the lawyers in Ghana trying to respond to this. Now, any practicing lawyer in Ghana is called to the bar. Do they know what the bar means? British Accreditation Agency, which is the appendage of the British Crown. So what are they making noise about? Every practicing lawyer who is a member of the bar. Do they know what it means?
I get you correctly, it's like until see about Samrano. Said they still control us.
And it's not just their thinking, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So, and found the way we feel or what we say, we come down to the fact of the matter. What is it? Are you independent? You say yes. Are you in control of your land and your resources? No. Do you even speak your own language as your official language? No. No. Everything you do is in the colonial administration. So what are you independent of? More independence, no. That is why this group of people will have that audacity to say they are giving issues to someone who calls himself the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces is being ordered by who? A group of lawyers.
Yeah.
But why? Why do they have that right? Why do they feel they can tell us what to do if it is not what the case is? And see, my call to the government will be simple here. When any politics are them, any partisan issues, any activists against the government, these are national issues. So we are building a nation.
Yeah.
And see, there are some relevant questions we have to answer. What are we doing as a nation? And this comes down to nation building, not administration or running a country, Debbie.
Yeah.
Nation building is different from winning elections or crafting policy, Debbie. Now, when we are dealing with nation building and your infrastructure and so on, say, road, highways, that is not what nation building is about alone. Nation building includes education. So we have to be creating or training citizens to be able to think, innovate, and solve problems. This is part of nation building. We're supposed to have a robust healthcare system where every citizen has access to world-class healthcare. This is part of nation building. You see, we have to have a system where every Ghanaian is proud to be a Ghanaian and that there's protection for every citizen. This is a national identity. Do we have that? And as I say, we'll be a Ghanaian. What are the principles behind that identity as a Ghanaian? And see, all the things about corruption and this moral irregularities, also all those misbehaviors, is because we do not have a clear cardinal point or a true north. I can say this is who a Ghanaian is, so people can aspire to those levels. We don't have that. And so you can have presidents, sitting presidents, who are supposed to be model icons, misbehaving anyhow, and nobody can hold them to account because as a people, we've not agreed what is supposed to be our national identity.
Yeah.
But these are the foundations of nation building. And so you look, for a very long time, our so-called leaders have only been concerned about building political parties, but not about nation building. They don't have any idea or any clue as to what it takes to build a nation. And see, if you were building a nation, you never have a situation, say, a buying beba or best started projects be in the interest of the Ghanaian people. Another government comes into power, they say, this is not my project, and you're not doing it for yourself, it is for the people of Ghana. And see, if one government is building a hospital, which is going to benefit the people of Ghana, you don't come and say, and me project, and say, no, it's not for you. It is for the people. And this is what nation building is supposed to be about. But nation building, they think it's just about occupying the positions and build your political party, which is what it is, political identity. And see, when that changes, we don't care about the people. But it goes out to the people of Ghana. One of the main requirements of democracy, and they say, you have to be observant and vigilant. And I say, so you have to be an active participant in the governance process. It's one of the things about democracy, they say, governments are now you are supposed to speak up. Because if you don't speak again in law, tacit procuration, it means what you agree. And sometimes some of us would like to speak, even say Nipa 2, 1, and 3, we like to speak, only that we put it on record. Say, who were agreeing with what was happening, so we sat quiet. No. So there's the responsibility of every Ghanaian citizen to become an active participant in this so-called democracy. Say, Nyama Nkoye, we have to join in one voice and say Nkoye, and let us get it fixed. And this is a time where, Titi, again, this calls for patriotism. All the citizens of Ghana have to understand, say, this is a clear case of some people trying to re-establish the colonial chains on us. We've seen what has happened in most of the French African countries. They've kicked out France completely and are seeking to cut all ties with France. If we do not allow some of these things to happen, these people will still maintain the colonial structure and think they own us as property, so they can tell us what to do. But if we claim we are citizens of Ghana and that we are a sovereign independent state, then we have to start behaving like that.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you very much. Conscious Agbenua Hosu, I'll say Ivan Kyei innocent one. You can never be innocent. Oh. Conscious are they? Okay. Jomo Poku say okay, or no so analysis na ni you know and then ni abere watch so watchro hu teases 10 o message no said you see one of me kasa me kan ya
history lesson
enye easy one also ever say ni chi e kan no also type okay all right Idrisu Rahman I say yeah good morning. Good morning, Yami Israel. Okay, and Chris Love and Ponsa or say these guys they are very deep. All right, G-Tech and matters are rising, chasing and for professor, doctor title, and so many issues. Innocent.
Yeah. I've always advocated say. Onye doctor, menkofa doctor.
And to
onye lawyer, menkofa lawyer, onye professor. That is even criminal.
Yeah.
Then I say for
imposter.
Yes, we become some sort of an intellectual imposter, and amount for finding out it takes away credibility and a whole lot of stuff. Yeah. But you see, there is other side I think people are not looking at. In recent times, just G-Tech. There is a particular trend, because maybe people haven't noticed. Over the years, we've been talking about how our institutions must be very vibrant, robust, and must not be reactionary. Very often, we are about to say G-Tech statement about one team, it is coming at the back of a social media, some sort of a brandishment. Akoso. Because Mekai Rashid Tanko there, Mekai Wine there, several other, including this MP and their core parliament. So the question is, sitting at your office, nothing has happened in the space, you know. What at all are you doing? It tells you, is it the Omoyana how ineffective this whole institution is, because you only pick your letter and write when social media banter goes on between somebody and somebody. That is when you are prompted to know, say, hey, exactly. I can sit here and I've said this thing on this TV. Say, many of the Ghanaians who travel out there and return home say, oh, may your doctor, may there, about 80% are liars. They never schooled anywhere. People are walking around with fake certificates, and that is a fact. So we don't need to have a social media banter or parliamentary banter for G-Tech if it indeed it is an institution that is supposed to run this credibility, this thing to establish whether. I listened to one of the interviews with Brouhaha, and I was shocked in someone no Kocaine and Asiedu, but Nina because nothing has been done about it. Behind the scenes, you can't tell us that behind the scenes, oh yeah, because according to you, nothing was even written to him. In the case of this whole woman. And you see, when it comes to professorship, doctoral way now, from state to state, you know, and your uniform say, for instance, in America, how to attain a professorship is different from in America, in Ghana. Ghana, the processes go through after our doctorate, you know, the number of your friend is saying, how do you call papers about then that particular thing is awarded though. We don't earn it all. It is awarded. That is why I have a friend at our University of Ghana. Now, associate professor. Then one of the universities in Ghana called her and told her, say, oh, they going to delay be the prophet. They will confirm. Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. So
really,
yes, it is something that is and even say first degree, second degree, it's awarded. We don't earn it. Yeah. So the university can call you today, and then if I hold a degree from University of Ghana, no China, or what time I call you a validity school, no new way, they can call me and withdraw it. We don't earn it. It is the school that award you that particular way. So circumstances and as for they award some of this So you cannot sit in Ghana without engaging with maybe a nipa so wako school. No, now it's G-Tech. No answer letter. Now we should say letter. When as we speak, there are tons of people with fake certificates. They are not doctors. They are not lawyers. So as an institution, robust mechanism then would put in place just to ensure so even certificate you are verifying. There are people with fake UCC certificate, people with fake University of Ghana certificate, people with fake pencil. We saw a lot of people, taxi driver coming to Ghana. They told you that they were teaching at the universities. In the end, they were all taxi drivers in America. They never taught anywhere in any of the universities. These are realities. You understand? So I think that we need to be very deliberate in our attempt just to ensure that we sweep all these people. I am not verifying or your friend saying I'm verifying whether it will be a professor, but I don't like the approach at G-Tech Alpha in this. They are just advertising sheer incompetence in the way a man or more and some traces of ignorance because the mere fact is our standard I had the award of professorship, different from Obidiano. I think the best thing you can do now, America, there is no single institution that open information on farm. You can write to them, verify any of the universities, any information. So for you to write to say, depending your professorship, then you also add it because about public debate among for can you add say we have had contact with the institutions, and this is the report. You can even attach the email just to distill this whole public distance. Why somebody sit comfortably in the office? Oh, that's around a part, never social media, that's a letter. And today, Nippon or down, people are even challenging on also the qualification. You see this whole thing. So, I quite a comedy movie been a year, and another day, the institution no credibility, yet take me over the years, and I know can't be inside the UFN G-Tech or more. I didn't know what I said. So, I think they should stop this nonsense and give us a break. So, I'm person I may say they should move from institution, minister to ministers, MPs to MPs. No one shall say verification. The number of your friends saying fake certificate on Betty Okroma and Trogo cry and Kosu Okroma say, I am telling you, because there are people who go online, do certificate programs and other those institutions are not credible, they don't even exist. There are, you see, and now one just smart amount for there is this Okroma. They award people degree, that kind of honorary degree, they be almost the same amount for normal Dubai, no Makoma way, a fake way. They look at individuals with your friends saying some kind of good standing in Ghana. No one who says you can pay for it. You spend about over $10,000 to travel all the way back to a London business school. Where we near Swanee at the Okwana Kofa Nkrufu, no than Yamato to Como. Where we near Kawabona, that particular thing doesn't go anywhere. And a lot of Ghanaians go there for those things. You understand? So I think that G-Tech and institution, must be very proactive. Not any where Obinyan talk social media no challenge ne title pe adechi ya na G-Tech the way the question is as an institution what is your core mandate, what are you doing, you understand? And these things are they up to the very institutional ineffectiveness that say there is the need as a country say various institutions we need to build them and make sure that they become very effective, their resources, everything that they need, And also, we must begin to put competent people at the various head of way. Sabaya Nipano will not be driven by emotions this kind of way. Because as an institution of a state, why must you be responding to some of these things? I did not ban say Bantano cause all of a sudden the wetting a letter about thing. Sometimes I am a crime and one say I know when I should be obit baby and wash that Babe Comna or T radio so grant interviews on the Troy. Panini as I didn't be any team or Moody Sanse Mono. I think that you see, we've had enough of this nonsense. So I'm going to say, Otum said they are indeed a very credible institution. I'm say no more duma. And then the panel mudiamba social media they should begin to check all the various certificates in various offices. Now, I'm saying this because I know for a fact that there are a lot of people who come from outside with fake certificate. America, there are funny schools, they don't have any accreditation. And it's not just one school. Sometimes you may go to the school, but the institution you went to a funny institution. They have no credibility, they have no establishment, they have no accreditation. And people are walking around with some of these things. Some do it online and as a forum. And also, you also provide avenue to educate people. Say, answer now, apply so course, baby, making sure that the school is credible. Our accreditation. So if we don't have your friend is saying the access to verifier come to us and answer there is this institution you can go and verify to see that the institution is credible. Unya sanema we nyina na adechi na to social media na wa letter Professor Yensu is not a professor. Where is not this now we are professor. I think this nonsense. You see, I think that we are I wonder why maybe a nyina do as of my year kwa name no. You see, Saturday NDC MPP politics we don't pander to those things. Oh. As young people, many are intellectuals. They want to see their institutions doing the right thing.
Sure.
Without pandering to any partisan or political influences. So, but yeah, me as a young person, I have confidence that yes, when it comes to this institution, it is credible. They will work for us. If you could that cry, you know, say the institution is effective. But where individuals take some kind of a partisan kind of way, now more the institution you didn't say in recent time, look at what Electoral Commission was doing and so forth. We are now begin to ask ourselves, say, democracy now yes, you build the regional institutions, you know.
Yeah.
The institutions are shaky. And now you can't trust the legislature, you can't trust parliament, you can't trust the executive, depending on who is in power and so for them. The other institutions now can't also say moody. So we are young person say the democracy is it sustainable? Is it not on the shaky grounds? I think some of this nonsense. Me, I've seen people reacting to Gita. Me, I think that is a nonsense of a way. Yeah, we don't need to give them that particular room. If they shouldn't be waiting till some of these things come on social media. There are several ways you can verify. And then as a former man who say indeed, Nipa no certificate, no credible, and I say anyway. Now when the idea about social media now requires some kind of a social media way, I think is absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
And see, back to the issue of nation building. Because one of the main pillars will have to be education. So we have to be training citizens who can think, who can innovate, and I mean it's about service to the country. Yes, and see, those who can solve problems, but not to cast any aspersions and answer to downgrade the importance of academic excellence.
Yeah.
But so you share the current state of Ghana. You're a man for Bebre, you're from say my PhD, and you're from a doctor and professor and all of that. But say one simple question: what has been the beneficial impact of all those titles to Ghana? You struggle. Until you were brilliant professors, people who have but what's the impact? So, and see, for a very long time, we say the respect or the prestige that was accorded to long years of dedication to academic excellence. No, a man for whom they say useless.
That's a who here.
And that's where the recognition and the respect started going down.
Yeah.
And see, those times back in the day, say you say, "Obi, your doctor now, professor." You respect the person because then person has dedicated his life to study, and then just title, but the substance to it. Yes.
You feel the depth of intellect.
He's refined. And that's the power of education. Knowledge is supposed to refine a man. Frederick Douglass can say, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. It is you're a slave, it makes it impossible for you to be a slave because that's the power of knowledge. But if you look at all those so-called academics, they carry all those titles. What has been the beneficial impact to Ghana and their community at large? We don't see it. And see, that respect, has gone down very, very much. And see, I say, if anybody comes to you or say, "Oh, me, a doctor," say, you can see from the person's character.
Where to be him.
You can tell, but there's no prestige according to it any longer. And see, Obia to me Fabi. Obi cry to me body. I say, doctor. I happen to miss it.
I saw for no.
Is about doctor sitting down?
Doctor professor. Okay.
Obi to me bono double. Doctor professor. Now the engineers so I was say, yeah, Jesus. But meanwhile, Ghana, you to me near co-port, export. Co-port, Debbie. Yes. And see, toothpick cry, but I've not seen anyone with that expertise, or more developing machines for processing some of our raw materials here. You don't see industry. And see, the whole Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, what has been one major technological breakthrough on Modiaba, even if it was to copy and paste what is actually happening in global industry, we cannot even replicate them here. And see, what is the essence of our education here?
Yeah, okay, then as a practically the NKB to me, friend, Doctor Professor Ebia Kwajosafu, Apostle Kwajosafu.
No, practical.
I don't know why I can't do a movie.
It's a casa. But there's service to show.
Yes.
So it all comes down. In terms of say, with nation building, one of the main pillars, education. Education, yeah, titles need degrees, but it is service to your nation and your people. A whole na young and see, Titi Fadisa will say why a doc, what medicine.
Yeah.
But you're not able to serve your people. And in serving in your practice, no, you're not just doing it by yourself. You are being supervised. And to do that, say, be on your qualified to be a doctor, no, it will come out.
Sure.
If you're having a robust health institution, and it is in service that you expose all the charlatans. Or more insurance and yamano. It is in the service that you'll be able to expose them.
Yeah.
But say any now be casa. It's all about talk. And it's not surprising. It is social equality of politics and politics is not about substance. A popularity contest.
Yeah.
And the other to me popular chain will be out casa. That's what qualifies people to become politicians today.
Sure.
But there's no substance. And the IFR will be statesman. It comes from service, the quality of service, your integrity, your honor, how you serve your people. And no IFR will be a statesman. But today, it's also the crop of politicians we have today. They're not even truthful to their own constituents. What is honorable about them? And see, this whole brouhaha about titles need degrees in Sanyamano. It's not just by chance. It's about time we wake up to that reality. Titles of honor don't just come because you take them, but it comes out of service to your people. And it's all both degree in then PhD, then you're not able to serve your people. There's no benefit to that. Of that degree to your people, and it's basically practically useless. And that's where we have to start approaching this thing from nation building. Let's rework our educational system to serve the people of Ghana. So we can raise citizens who can think, who can innovate, and who can solve our problems. This is what the main objective of education is supposed to be. And yes, we have both degrees now, you're afraid, doctor, professor, why? No. Again, it comes down to service to your people. Titi, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think the Nika is very, very important. I think you see, the question is that this whole degree, in recent time, will be a lawyer, cry a Troy, DL, we need a short. Obama, a lawyer, Obiam can't tell you, never know. You see, but God, it's funny. So it means that we are much interested in the titles rather than what it does.
Yes.
Sometimes you wake up on TV, you listen to some so-called intellectuals and the kind of arguments they make, the poverty of logic, the poverty of intellect, or more living in their wake,
no basic common sense.
So in America and in Russia, those days, they were chasing scientists at the depth of their knowledge, and they needed it to do something very substantial. So over here, people were adapting those individuals. For the purposes, it could be dangerous, it could be anything. But man, for build the atomic bomb. These are individuals that they sat in the lab, did their own research, came up with something. Innovation. Something came out of it. Every year, be at the university, they ask students to do research. Nobody even goes back to open them. Yes, impact by institutions do deeper research and there might direction how we run this country. So that was and over political space a chaff from media to project you or bit make us hype me. That kind of nonsense. That is what we do. But to display wit, intellect, integrity, honesty. I don't know because I don't respect titles, so maybe people don't see. I listen to him. The depth of knowledge all displayed. Somehow can a crowd where you're very educated. I don't care whether you're a professor or you're a doctor. When I listen to you, you should be able to convince me and say, indeed, I am learned. You understand? Now, the only way bet me do one dance say we educated and just copy of paper
then it's useless.
What I say because education is supposed to refine you. So that the recently there was this debate of a man for say PhD your friend saying Dutch passport to say
Dutch passports.
And I'm saying you see these people are very ignorant. The whole essence of education, essence we use education is for self-enlightenment, capacity to face the troubles of life. So we are now the Konya Juma, that is bonus. The whole essence of education is just to enhance you as a human being. Some people deal with trouble because we are some only knowledge you question on how come from. You listen to the problem, but if you are enlightened, now you understand that you are able to navigate the storms of life. Then enhance your capacity. But because education is equated to finding a job to do, a majority of people don't get it to do. Oh, education so I don't go and waste my time. You understand? Education is the best thing that can happen to anybody. So when
Vincent as if we're doing your answer or no lawyer.
Or lawyer, I mean, him so and I do the because some of the arguments they make is shocking, and sometimes these are areas that some of us sometimes you want to venture into, but sometimes you look at some of the people, to be very honest with you, and I think that education must begin to have impact. Yet here we are not professors, we are not doctors, but the things we say definitely will impact one person or other. And they do wiki be one, but we have phones. Hey, because maybe one way or the other you are impacting, but we are not professors. So any place be out, find yourself, let what you do impact. There are people who have done great things. Sir Abrantia, Snowden, your friends say US force or the almost secret called Russia. That guy was a school dropout. But the NSA and CIA, and he was an analyst our Hawaii, I know, Juma. What I say, it is about your friends, Nipano, how refine maybe what Bianco drew, and a bachelor, but Bianco do now be a professor or a doctor, who cares about those things? I don't know, the Todian. I think we need to give ourselves a break.
Ebenezer Mautoasi, Mammy, please, good morning. In fact, I'm happy to see both two champions, Mr. Nee and Mr. Ivan today. The match is very fantastic. Please don't change it. Hey, and I critical. Stephen Joe, said doctors and professors on paper, and Eric Bedo, I the G-Tech are not serious. In any case, if the title will go chop. I'm watching you live from La Paz. Thank you very much. All right, so quick one. Say, Osha. Asama dawa chesa no pe kura mi kura makabie. Raf. And a rich hospital issues, confrontations, and cause so disruption, and cause so our hospital, and Mitier, Dr. David Chum, Chum, General Secretary for Ghana Registered Nurses, and then Charlie was like, as our name, mental kind of crowd personal issue. The dinner tem or the way you queenia na unimadi abrano bin chirewade simply because minta kanda courage the situation it's here am wakase what committee no ma share asem ni monti or se wanti ase. This whole thing about Raf Modi obi call delay in healthcare, my live, my video, and there's a CCTV footage me pacho we no. Apart from say a boss, that video no ewo campaign segment no call CTV ye page na kasa or Facebook that CCTV footage from regional ye dia to ho baby a nurse no or say ni don't pay aye dislocation just say don't pay na ye fi wa question baby na Rafford and some born matches and the phone call we are in same baby. There's that footage and we have video now ultimu say Raff ye say or corner so into ordinance ye say now gone ye say and I say oh yes or second one will be crossing no so he was not able to get close to nursing. I don't know if there's another footage other than that. I can say it's a verbal abuse. As for verbal abuse, because I know say Ralph was angry, very furious, and it may be obeyed in attempt, nursing, obeyed in attempt, and other things. But over video now, sir. Also, bone dislocation, phone, I need the bear. As I know, I didn't kaka. And then say General Secretary soon some more kaya. But yeah, for your health system, now as a whole. Ivan, near fancy tables, one of pay. Near her say, your health system, any nurse for any doctor for no services or more than my year. What the oil nurse? They say, walk when we so I am masters. They go, yeah, about professor. I quite see how the other Titi. Why masters in your area? We are nurse, walk for hospital, wash your nipa, you come in contact with patients and other things. Your health system, no, it's the same.
Yeah, they can. Let me first of all say, I think that what happened our rage is quite unfortunate.
Yes.
And Obi any right to barge into a hospital and cause the kind of commotion that they did. Sabi me when I saw those things, me catch Sabi and Crass, you don't do those things anywhere in any civilized society. Those things in this space anywhere. The fact of the matter, and say. Obi any ho betimi atena ha ka kire yen say.
Okay, so those watching no the video no everyone say Ivan will fire the video
yes.
Start of
Obi any ho betimi aka kire say your healthcare system that we have na problematic, and we've been on this platform very often advocated for the need for us to retool your health infrastructure and personnel and as for them, and then most of the nurses are running away, whole lot of stuff are but let me narrow down to what happened at a region and as for them no. So if the video circulating on social media is anything to go by, the gentleman says he had an accident and now ran into rage and now oblidi and oblidi okwatena hono omanya hwe the only thing that they did for him is say the bandage ebechechere in samano. From there going he was expecting something. Yeah, I think that there's this thing that people don't get it. Sometimes when a man for go to hospital, they expect something big to happen. Whenever you are involved in RTA, a road traffic accident, nasa the many part do now a bleeding. When blood no lose hemorrhage, when you lose bladder, and about 80% the man for. So whenever you get a cut, now call hospital. Nasa who bleeding, the bandage, stop the bleeding now. That is the first thing anybody on his right sense will do for you, and they maybe take your vitals to know whether you are stable or not. And emergency services, you are they be a charge.
Okay.
Nipa na beba or tietia mi wo ujina sa ade no so he nipa na will be making a lot of mistakes. Sometimes obi or her their state to be hysteria those kind of way.
Okay.
You are trash. And do the nipa no kana trash na either green, yellow or way depending on red, depending on severity of the way no obenya.
Na dey ekọ nursing kakra.
Yes, and the mere fact is nipa no ba or tietiam gidi no, and you also need to look at the capacity at the time. Because emergency no nipa no betimi aba obi betimi aba oba beto obi ba e behwe de ne ba sisi energy depending on because it's an emergency depending on the severity na say for enti oba na say they are able to stop the bleeding for you now vitals is stable they can ask you to wait. Because RTA no you don't need anything. Maybe the next thing is to go to X-ray department to go and take X-ray. And now say maybe they will refer you to go and do any other further test. But aside they say you stop bleeding in amount, no, maybe pain medication. Another person may wait for a doctor to come and review you and tell you what has to be done. Okay. And to we ordinary person now what you may think that my better how much idea we chichire me we omunya hwe ma. But stopping the bleeding is the biggest thing nipa betimi ayama. And again, people go to hospital, but no be done pass soon in as for my cats in emergency settings, you know. Obi enu ha owu asase so osu da ebin si da. When you are dying, you don't have energy to cry. So whenever a doctor sees this person is crying, he is convinced that this person is never going to die. Oh yes. So whenever me emergency, let me who say obi sua, you know that this person is nowhere close to dying.
Oh, energy.
We have energy. We want to be owu sua. So there was a time I was at the theater now. I was the only person on duty doing SEAL training as for. But Nipa no, obi da what Doctor Woman me and now be so the whole day on Timin Kekano. So no as a obi ojira nchen no nebusi no beka say away tiem ko head but you as a professional knows that that whole day no bibi no. Because he doesn't even have the muscle to move within so you check the oxygen saturation level to know say nipa no or home on to me home woman oxygen what check it other way and what tend to that person no but the that one or tell no beka say with me and they're the very people who go out spread the information that me call a nurse no heme but he's attending to somebody out there. So these are some of the realities that we nim now ko hospital na kwaya sanse munu na you will end up advertising ignorance na say for them. I don't know, and me no say some of the nurses kasa finchire and say na mumpani for no disikan if indeed that particular thing happened I think that is condemnable. And also a lot of people complain about the behavior of some nurses and some doctors. Sometimes some of the words are unprintable and me I've seen a lot of them and sometimes say I think there should be a way. And so going around the committee no so for be any so always committee for you see the question maybe some who say obi call rage na me a patient na say me call na say your friend saying, Obiya Dietiamia, what is the channel of reporting?
Yeah.
Do we have that particular thing in place? So in the absence of that thing, the person may overreact. And again, one thing very important in healthcare delivery, they be find reassurance.
Okay.
Say yaba, na say the machichire won we are. I need to reassure you say, oh, oba no. The here na say yachichire won na we twen doctor ba and I say ye ba before akutwa eswe. When you are able to say this small words to the person will be relaxed. Even if 1 hour we na my na, the person will be okay.
Okay. Okay.
What I say, you reassure the person, establishing a rapport beside the dean and as a for no, ya chichire won sana we because bleeding in the year, because the more you lose blood, you are going to die. Because you know, say nipa and when you the fastest way you can do is when you. That is why it will be far prior the punch jugular vein. Within seconds you will die. Because blood, the very moment an accident is seen, people die because of blood loss at the spot. And you be organ damage, your blood, you will die. So the doctor no stop bleeding, man, have to reassure you, say, oh, yes, in the absence of that particular thing, nipa na da hono say, me pain, mo nya hwe mame, and people react, you understand? So I think going forward, there's some of these things now.
This communication tips, and I think I know the lack
and the hospital be no have a class reassurance no be the ma no sikana editia na canon na you see, yeah, I think that we need to look at our health sector. Now you make sure say you retool no me and oko regional hospital we there is pressure oko amanfo mu gina bonte kra nya de ketwa. And do we nurse in any way? Obejina we 9 swa from Anapakosi enyumra. We are human beings sometimes. Anger na as a form so to me back just like anywhere in the way. So I think there sa neema reactionary na gidigidi ne yakoho na gidigidi no. The thing is I me dey say ade be nyansi ya. What are we doing to solve all these problems? Rage as an institution, no, obi koho and I say onya bad treatment and I say onya bad way. What is the channel of communication? Enka Ralph ko ye e no free say ono so no. There's some way man and nurse in Libya can say there is this channel or waiting a report to be knowing that action will be taken. Some of these things will come up, you understand? And again, who allowed them to enter?
Nothing.
Yeah,
because what's your story now? I said there was a first accident. I don't know, it's any panocrebino mukasa as we were wedding. And no mudi kind of victim no ekoye. And no more raffle, no more that's all a pass. Or no accident in this year, the victim no quadda.
Okay.
And boys in I say no more your program been accident to the scenes. It's almost ready. Omunia Tinamoto Swaka Heno. And no more quadri and now Omunya Nipano more than Abano. That's the story. And no say Nanipa me call bear 5 something, ya bedroom bear 7, still Munya Renedia. Send your Nipano be woo. And see a real children concentration na call. Nipa no mudi kind ne call you mo hwe no because so mo kwaje card no mo nya folder and famra. So if you check the video mo call guy na no oda ho no asese wo so say na comment with dem ntimi say me nye experts.
And I doubt say obi be involved in RTA.
So I think there was a lack of communication. Exactly.
It can't happen.
And there's a miscommunication between nurse for no any Ralph no more call you who say yeah attending to him. Because I know says if you are KBBA reassurance here
yes, and now if you attending to the person nipa you speak to people just to find out say there because patient you know
I believe say miscommunication
maybe say patient but I just say you see me my hospital obi aba wa na duro no o say na mo nya me hwe o expect say e do so be see so answer so the person something might have been done for the person but or no expect something big enya ma no ntino there are sometimes this hysteria case will be sometimes you have to give the a placebo. I shouldn't be saying some of these things because sometimes expect to say want panier but the person doesn't need panier and they are in a state I want a panier on tiapo. So what you do is I will draw water. Now they are water.
Oh yes.
And the very moment you inject the person with the water, what's up? Because the mindset is that you're so there is no hospital. It doesn't matter. Say nipa no we wicked same cry. Obi be involved in RTA. I remember to emergency room na. You say on na hobi and it can't happen. So I think that some of this side man on moye. I think say crisis. I mean, if you you don't do these things. And again, who you camera in an emergency room? It's totally needless. It's called uncalled for. I think, and you see, Ralph, I like the way a man or any name about some of the things because there was a time of traffic here. Yes, man, for you can't do that anywhere.
But
yeah, I understand. But you see, I think that there are certain things that we understand the system, no. And the weaknesses,
Dr. Tim crying because if committee no cry na one minister nyajina direct insult and other things and that's where you could too far.
Substance.
Yeah. Because the substantive issue is there. You are not dealing with that one, and you are attacking the minister.
Yeah, and I think that the politics, and you see, I commend the minister. Say, Otis, I said, quickly he ran into the scene. What I said, it tells you the kind of importance of what attached to this whole thing. And I think Ralph was there. No, Kocaine. No, so I'm for no, but minister, but I said Ralph, but I don't make us on Chiano. What I say, you have to greet him. As for but I'm for making the case. Say, Oba, no. Or what party where our born about so that kind of way. I'm not sure that is exactly what happened.
No.
So